They said the crypto dream was doomed to wilt under regulations once deemed ironclad. They said the Biden administration had all but choked out any spark of digital innovation. And yet, in a thunderous twist of fate, here we are. Cryptocurrency is surging with more power, more backing, and more momentum than ever imagined. That is the story we are tackling today. How did this dramatic reversal happen? And what does it mean for everyone who ever glanced at a Bitcoin price ticker and thought, could this be the future? Or is it just another bubble waiting to burst? In this adventure, we are exploring epic successes, secret maneuvers behind closed boardroom doors, and the colossal forces shaping the next phase of the global financial revolution. We are going to talk about Bullish Global, the role of billionaire investors like Peter Thiel, the surprising comeback of President Donald Trump, eye-popping numbers like Bitcoin surpassing $100,000, and so much more. Intrigue, high-stakes drama, and fortunes in the making. It is all here in the brave new world of digital assets. Ready to dive in? Let us jump right into the heart of this cryptic saga. Picture this. Not so long ago, many people assumed that stringent oversight from the Biden era might grind blockchain progress to a halt. Major crypto firms found themselves shackled by thick red tape, and the promise of investor-friendly legislation seemed like a distant dream. Then came Donald Trump's return to the presidency, igniting a blaze of policy shifts so pronounced that it took even seasoned analysts by surprise. Where roadblocks once stood, green lights began appearing, and suddenly, digital currencies soared in both price and mainstream acceptance. This was not a mere flicker of hope, but a blazing signal to the market that the tide had turned, and nowhere has this sea change been more evident than in the unfolding tale of Bullish Global. This crypto trading platform, backed by none other than billionaire investor Peter Thiel and entrepreneur Richard Lee, once aimed for a flashier entrance into the public sphere. Their attempt via a special purpose acquisition company merger back in 2021 was banner news among crypto enthusiasts. But storm clouds gathered in those uncertain regulatory times. Strict scrutiny from the Securities and Exchange Commission, spelled out as SEC, and an overall haze on how the government would handle crypto-forced Bullish Global to pump the brakes on its ambitions. The plan fizzled, leaving future watchers disappointed and convinced that the hush descending over the platform was a permanent retreat. But oh, how quickly things can change. With an altogether friendlier environment spurred by fresh directives from the Trump administration, new life was breathed into the crypto realm. This shift is so powerful that it has already propelled Bitcoin past the often-chased threshold of $100,000, doubling down on claims by crypto evangelists that digital coins are not just hype, but unstoppable financial phenomena. A wave of euphoria rushed across the market, and the total crypto market cap soared to an astounding $3.15 trillion. Suddenly, those who had been forced into hiding by cumbersome regulations felt the chains loosen. Bullish Global seized this moment of jubilation. Led by Tom Farley, the former president of the New York Stock Exchange, Bullish Global quietly filed the paperwork for an initial public offering, or IPO, with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Whispers of their confidential submission started circulating in insider circles, then leaked to the broader media. What exactly is fueling Bullish Global's renewed courage? Surely it has to do with the appetite of investors, both retail and institutional, who see digital assets as the next great frontier. And it cannot hurt that Jefferies, a heavyweight investment bank known for steering massive deals, is rumored to be the lead advisor, guiding the platform through the labyrinthine process of going public. If that alone does not raise your eyebrows, consider the fundamentals swirling around Bullish Global. The company has something that even industry outsiders might find impressive. It currently manages roughly $10 billion in digital tokens. That is real heft. We are not talking about a tiny startup peddling hope and speculation. This outfit wields legitimate influence in the crypto markets. Now, with the wind at its back, courtesy of a significant pivot in the White House stance toward digital assets, Bullish Global believes the time is ripe to burst forth into public trading in the year 2025. Now, the question arises, how did the Trump administration facilitate such a dramatic shift in regulatory tone? According to insiders, one major step was dismantling the crypto-hostile policies enforced during the Biden era. Those earlier rules forced companies to treat crypto holdings in ways that complicated their financials considerably, discouraging them from taking bold steps in the digital realm. But that changed abruptly when President Donald Trump returned, championing new guidelines that many interpret as nothing less than an open door to the crypto universe. Particularly telling is the story of Circle Internet Financial. This entity, behind the stablecoin known as USDC, braved the public markets and struck the jackpot. Circle raised $1.1 billion through its IPO and watched its share price surge by 168% on opening. An eye-popping figure that left many early naysayers floored. And let us not forget that stablecoins are often overshadowed by mainstream cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Seeing a stablecoin project rake in that much money so quickly signaled a dramatic shift in both regulatory acceptance and public sentiment. In that sense, Circle's roaring success set the stage for Bullish Global's renewed efforts. The once murky path to going public now seems navigable, if not entirely unobstructed. Suddenly, other crypto sector titans began seriously mulling public listings. Exchanges, wallet providers, and mining operations have been taking notes from Circle's ascent. Bullish Global, with its deep pockets, star-studded backing, and an appetite for forging new ground, is therefore poised to make a lasting impact if its IPO journey hits all the right notes. Is this development merely a byproduct of the times, or is something deeper at play? In truth, the cryptomania we are seeing is grounded in a combination of factors. Not only the signals from regulators, but also a broader global climate that is pushing individuals and institutions to reevaluate what it means to invest, save, and transfer value. Many remain wary, recalling the wild price fluctuations that have become the hallmark of assets like Bitcoin. Could the current bull run be short-lived, or is society witnessing the first wave in a world where decentralized finance becomes the new normal? Be sure not to blink at this juncture. If you like the thrill of these shifting financial landscapes, show some love by tapping that like button. Every moment that passes sees another wave of speculation, fresh policy announcements, and fresh controversies erupting around digital money. You will want to stay connected. But let us reel ourselves back into the main storyline. Bullish Global's push toward an IPO. Tom Farley's involvement is particularly noteworthy. As the former president of the New York Stock Exchange, he is no stranger to the intricacies and drama of going public. Having a savvy operator such as Farley at the helm signals the seriousness behind Bullish Global's move. If the mooted timeline holds, the year 2025 will mark a new milestone, one of the first major crypto platforms to trade on an American exchange with the blessing of a more receptive administration. Should that listing skyrocket as Circle's did, we might see a domino effect, whereby any lingering reservations about crypto's legitimacy are immediately overshadowed by bright headlines and skyrocketing valuations. So, let us dig deeper into the question. Why is now the perfect time for this? According to those immersed in the swirling rumor mill, the administration is methodically unraveling tough accounting rules that previously forced crypto holdings to be recorded in a way that discouraged big firms from counting them on their balance sheets. Now, with these rules scrapped or revised, the fear of intangible asset concerns on the books is receding, enabling more robust portfolio expansions. Big names that once publicly scoffed at crypto are quietly investigating or accumulating digital assets. Meanwhile, smaller, nimble startups are chasing the spotlight with newly raised capital, convinced they can shape the future of finance in an environment that is more supportive than ever. Critics, however, are not quiet. Some say the markets are overheated, with valuations inflated beyond measure. Like any emerging sector, crypto is laden with unknown twists and potential pitfalls. Regulatory clarity may have improved, but that does not guarantee the absence of new storms ahead. Some analysts warn that the current mania resembles past frenzies in financial history. With each wave of exuberance has come potential volatility, tempting for quick gains, yet harsh on those failing to exit at the right time. The mere mention of a new approach by the Securities and Exchange Commission can rattle the entire ecosystem. Nonetheless, it is the classic push-pull of risk and reward that keeps people on the edge of their seats, fueling a sense of unrelenting curiosity and greed, if we might add. One especially intriguing angle to watch is how institutional investors will respond to Bullish Global's IPO. Yes, retail enthusiasts are crucial. They have energized countless token projects with unbridled passion, memes, and social media hype. But the real heavy firepower in any emerging market often comes from hedge funds, pension funds, and other large-scale institutions. If they view Bullish Global as a legitimate gateway to the crypto frontier, the infusion of capital might exceed all expectations, potentially dwarfed only by the mania that erupted around Circle's USDC listing. It is a dynamic that ensures drama and possibly even more record-breaking valuations are around the corner. Still, do not forget that Bullish Global was not always set on a conventional IPO path. 2021 was the moment they first tried to catapult themselves into the public sphere via a special purpose acquisition company. That move was emblematic of the times. SPACs were red hot, and the crypto realm was abuzz with get-rich-quick stories. Then the bubble of euphoria popped ever so slightly, and the harsh weight of uncertain regulations forced the company to shelve its grand designs. People who believed in Bullish Global's vision were left in limbo, wondering if it was all a pipe dream. So the quiet nature of this new approach feels like a stark contrast. Rather than holding a megaphone to proclaim its ambitions, Bullish Global is slipping in discreetly, or at least trying to. But in the social media age, confidentiality is elusive, and rumors are as unstoppable as a digital coin bull run. And that brings us to another question. If Bullish Global stamps its mark with a hugely successful IPO, will it set off a chain reaction, encouraging other crypto platforms to follow the same route? There is chatter about lesser-known exchanges and blockchain development labs that see a path to maturity through the public markets, but have thus far been stifled by the rocky environment of the last few years. If the market is truly flipping in favor of crypto, thanks to the current administration, the next 2 or 3 years might witness a lineup of such listings, potentially transforming the entire financial sector in ways that are difficult to predict. Now, if you are as excited as I am about the trajectory of cryptocurrency, give that subscribe button a friendly tap so that you never miss a deep dive like this one. What we are witnessing is more than a fleeting headline. It might be the defining movement of a generation. From regulatory breakthroughs to billion-dollar IPOs, the speed and scale of change are astonishing. Missing out could mean overlooking the next big shift in how we perceive money and wealth. Yet, behind all the hype, tangible questions remain. What if the Trump administration's pro-crypto stance is a short-term phenomenon that could be reversed after the next election cycle? What if the federal government decides that other pressing issues override the impetus to expand digital finance and tightens the leash again? Such uncertainties can create a roller coaster ride for investors. The crypto sphere is no stranger to volatility. It thrives on it, in fact. But for those building businesses and infrastructure, stability is a critical ingredient for long-term success. Still, the very notion that we have arrived at a point where a high-profile crypto platform, like Bullish Global, sees genuine opportunity in standing shoulder to shoulder with time-honored public companies is monumental. Recall that for many years, mainstream finance considered crypto a mere novelty, suitable only for tech enthusiasts and risk junkies. Now, we are talking about a multi-trillion-dollar market, with marquee figures such as Peter Thiel championing the cause. The conversation has shifted from, is crypto legitimate, to how soon will these companies outgrow their older counterparts? Even the traditional banks are being forced to adapt, launching crypto custody services or exploring their own stablecoins. To go deeper, consider how Bullish Global's prospective listing might shift the corporate culture within crypto. Going public brings transparency obligations, corporate governance demands, and accountability to shareholders. That might turn away some from the wild and free spirit of decentralized everything, but it can also bring an air of trust and predictability that lures in conservative investors hungry for both innovation and security. Farley's background at the New York Stock Exchange is particularly relevant here. He knows what it takes to run a public company, the need for quarterly reports, and the importance of forging relationships with institutional stakeholders. His leadership might shape Bullish Global into a more conventional institution, even as it continues to push the boundaries of decentralized finance. Meanwhile, the rest of the world keeps watching the United States. Some countries have put out their own crypto-friendly policies, hoping to attract capital and talent. Others have clamped down harshly, wary of losing control over monetary systems. The actions of the United States government, especially with the global prominence of its capital markets, can reverberate worldwide. That is why the Trump administration's shift in stance is so pivotal. If the United States sets a new standard of crypto-friendly regulation, many international players might follow, spurring an era of unprecedented cross-border bullishness. Could it be a bubble, though? Even the most ardent supporters must acknowledge it is possible. Every historic financial craze is accompanied by fervent optimism. The difference here might be that crypto has already weathered multiple booms and busts. The technology underlying it, from blockchain to smart contracts, has outlived cyclical hype. And with each iteration, more sophisticated projects and frameworks have arisen, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, this time is different. Of course, only time will tell. What is certain is that every snippet of news, whether about a new White House directive, a mega IPO, or a pivot by an established banking titan will shape this narrative in real time. All eyes are on Bullish Global now, as it navigates the final leg of turning a quiet confidential filing into a flamboyant public debut. The hush-hush approach may well transition into a triumphant roar at the bell-ringing ceremony in 2025. And that is the crux of the matter. Markets thrive on anticipation, rumor, and the tantalizing possibility of massive returns. Investors large and small are scanning the horizon for the next big wave. If Bullish Global nails its listing, it could represent a watershed moment, an era where crypto ceases to be the rebellious outsider and instead becomes a mainstream financial heavyweight. That outcome may be exhilarating to some and terrifying to others. Either way, it will not be ignored. As the final act approaches, we must remember that no revolution is tidy. There will be friction, naysayers, and unexpected twists. But for those who believe in the decentralized ethos and the unstoppable rise of blockchain, this could be the moment they have been waiting for. A time when major players start rewriting the rules of finance in ways once thought impossible. The older guard of traditional finance can adapt or be swept aside. And we, dear listeners, we get to witness it all, perhaps even profit from it if we play our cards right. So, buckle up and keep your eyes peeled for more details, because the next steps Bullish Global takes might end up being the blueprint for others seeking to make a splash in the public markets. Whether you remain skeptical or are already cheering from the sidelines, one thing is clear. The race to take crypto mainstream has just begun, and the finishing line gets closer every day. If this resonates with you, stay tuned, because the future of finance is unfolding right before our eyes, and it is both thrilling and unpredictable. And who knows, the next time you read about an IPO, it might just be the catalyst that finally cements crypto as not just an investment or a gamble, but an integral part of our daily lives.